Hey everybody, so today we're moving on with our everyday carry medical. We started with an overview video and then we got into chest seals. Now we're going to get into gauze, specifically talking about even more hemostatic agents. So when thinking about what they were used for, we're really looking at wound packing. Specifically, what we would primarily use them as in, what we would use them as the first choice is when we have wounds that a tourniquet can't get to and work on to stop the blood loss that's happening. So that would be in the regions of your shoulders, front and back, your junctions areas, your pit, your armpits, and your pelvic region, buttocks. Those are the main areas we're looking at. So when we're talking about that, we are looking at wanting to fill the wound completely, just putting in gauze ever so slightly and continuously into the wounds until we completely fill the wound up, so that we are causing the wound, basically the hole that's broken in your body, to not be able to have blood flow coming out of it. It's clotting the blood and stopping it and things like that, so it's not getting out of your body. Something that's very vital to your survival, keeping your blood in your body. Now, that can be done in a myriad of ways. You can have an improvised tools for this, like, just a rag, a t-shirt, something that's an absorbent material. But when you really are thinking about medical items, you want to have the exact tool for the job. And for these, we're talking about gauze, hemostatic agents specifically. So when it comes to thinking about that and what you would get for this, you can go anywhere as simple as, just a little bandage roll, a little Curlix bandage roll that you can have with you. You can also get something like, say, like a little compressed gauze from like H&H or something like that. Or you can go all the way and get an actual hemostatic agent, something like a quick clot product like combat gauze. So let's talk about kind of the differences between these three items. Now, the most similar ones, the bandage roll and the compressed gauze, they literally are just, bandage. They're gauze themselves. There's nothing special about them. You're just going to pack them into the wound, clot the blood using the blood's properties so that it'll stop, trying to escape the body, and it'll just basically kind of like thinking about a minor cut or an abrasion. You get that scab and the blood's not coming out anymore. It's the same with that, except it's internally in the wound. We're causing a scab that is being done by gauze or hemostatic agents, things like that. So simple bandage rolls or compressed gauze, their dimensions themselves, if we want to look at that, is actually pretty much the same. We have, for the bandage roll, 4.5 inch wide by 4 1/8 yards, and for the compressed gauze we have 4.5 inch wide by 4.1 yards. So the dimensions are the same. The profile is different for sure. This is compressed gauze. Even if this was a compressed kind of, just a Z-rolled or S-rolled gauze, it would still be a smaller profile than, the roll itself. So this would be maybe something you'd want compared to just a bandage roll. Being able to fit this in your pocket or an actual medical carrier or something like that that we have, you're going to want something like this. The big thing when it comes to these is you might need more than one, just because of the wound, things like that. You might want, or need more than one. And it kind of would be annoying to have multiple bandage rolls on you because they're bulky to begin with, a little bit bigger. Whereas, something like this, it's already compressed, things like that, you can fit maybe 2 or 3, and it's not a huge, deal, and very annoying, even if it's in your pocket, with your other items, or in a carrier and things like that. What we really want to look at is not just gauze by itself, but something that actually has properties in it, like hemostatic agents, like quick clot products that have something even more than just using the blood's properties, but has its own properties that will clot the blood faster. You pack it into the wound and it's going to clot even more. So that's something that really you're going to want to look at. Now, hemostatic agents, quick clot, things like that are pricier per se, but it's because they are, worth it, honestly. Dimensions wise, this is 3 inch wide by 4 yards long, so the length is the same, the width is a little less, but the profile is nice. It's, a square here, but it's actually thinner than the compressed gauze on its own. right there. And so these, you could really have more than one with you in your pocket or in a you know, medical carrier, cuff or something like that, and you're not going to really, you know, be bothered by having these. And the added bonus of the hemostatic agent, as well as if you can see the blue line running through, it runs through the whole gauze right there. That is something that can be visible through x-rays, so it's even an added bonus there that you can have once the situation is done. If it needed to be removed, they can see it by an x-ray if for some reason they need to do that. So gauze in itself, hemostatic agents even more, like the ones we have, quick clot combat gauze, is a very important thing to have. It's something that in certain instances it might just be a secondary use, maybe just a wound that you're packing in, you know, a leg or an arm or some of that, once you've already had a tourniquet put on, but you still want to pack the wound to make sure that it's filled and everything and you don't have any other damage going on. But especially when it's going to be the primary main choice, because you're packing in the junctions and the armpit area, the shoulder region, the pelvic region, things like that, you definitely want to have it. You definitely are going to want to have more than one probably as well, because even if I were to have the combat gauze, maybe I get one of the combat gauze and this is my primary go-to, and I find a wound and this is what I'm packing the wound first with, because it has the hemostatic agents. But then once I've gotten to where the blood's coming out and I've started clotting the blood, I haven't filled the wound completely, so maybe then I have backup gauze and it's just compressed gauze. Maybe I do have a second combat gauze, but if it's not getting to the blood itself, because this one already did, but I just need to fill a wound, maybe I just have compressed gauze, and once I've held this in there and I keep this in there, and then I start putting in this compressed gauze in there. That's just, you know, a bandage itself, and it's not necessarily needing the huge hemostatic agent to clot it. It's more of just filling the wound itself to pack it all. It's important to have. So make sure, guys, that you have gauze itself, hemostatic agents, even better, like quick clot gauze. Make sure you have more than one. A phrase a lot of people say is one is none, so two is one, you know, and things like that. The numbers keep going, but definitely have the actual tool for the job, and definitely, if you can, especially if you can afford it, or if you can't, try to save, because this is something that will save your own life, a loved one's life, or just someone else still an important life that you could be saving. So check it out, guys, specifically for wound packing, gauze, and hemostatic agents. Take care.